What's up, guys? Welcome back to GoldClassGaming. Today I'm here to talk about the 5 meta contender decks I see really for this current format we're in, up until whenever the next ban list comes out. I think like January or whatever. Anyway, so we've only had one event this format and a handful of regionals, but I'm kind of gonna take that information as well as stuff from the last format and gather what I think are gonna be the best meta contender decks. Like they're not gonna be in the top 5 decks, but they will have it. You'll still probably see them taking 1 or 2 top slots every YCS. So generally, I'm going to define that as like in the last format they got like 2 or less tops every YCS, or just had a really good region, or had a really strong regional scene, and the ban list was in their favor kind of thing. But you'll kind of figure it out as you go along. By the way, I have a thing here and my recording thing here, so if I keep looking back and forth, you know why. I'm reading my notes and also looking at the recording. At number 5 we have Prank Kids. They just won YCS Milan, but I'm putting them this low on the list because a lot of their victory, a lot of the reason they won was because of the surprise factor. Like the guy who won actually said a lot of the games he won were just because people didn't know what his cards did. So people were just not sure when to properly negate him or ash him or whatever. So I think with that surprise, with that element of surprise out of the way, people are gonna know what Prank Kids do now, and they aren't gonna side against it because it's Prank Kids, but they'll more accurately know when to time their hand traps, their negates, their call by the graves, etc. That's definitely so. We're never gonna see Prank Kids have the same level of success that we just saw them do. They're never gonna win a YCS again, probably. Yeah, keep in mind this is all a grain of salt. Nothing I say is guaranteed because it's the future. So we may see them top, YCS again, take 1 or 2 top slots, but generally once the deck gets into the top 32. Most of the the well-versed players like Blair Hunter, Jeff Jones, etc. will have read all the cards in that deck and will know exactly how to beat them. So I don't see them having the same level of success that they had at YCS Milan. Next up, you have Cyber Dragons. Yu-Gi-Oh is basically in a break my board game. Yu-Gi-Oh has become a break my board kind of game, where you go first, you make this crazy board, and your opponent has to break it or they lose. And I can't think of a deck that's better designed to break boards than Cyber Dragons are. You have cards like Chimeratech Mega Fleet Dragon, which is so good at breaking boards that you see people playing 3 copies of Cyber Dragon just to have access to Chimeratech Mega Fleet Dragon. That outs any problematic monster in the extra monster zone. If your opponent U-linked you, which isn't as much of a problem in this format, it outs both extra monster zone cards, giving you room to do your plays again, etc. Chimeratech Fortress Dragon lets them contact fusion any machine monsters on the field, which isn't quite as relevant in this format. If we ever get back to a format that's done that has some kind of machine deck at the forefront, we'll see Fortress Dragon absolutely destroying that deck, so they can just slap down a Cyber Dragon and just eat their entire board. So also they have crazy OTK potential. So not only do they go second and then break your board, they then make cards like Chimeratech Rampage Dragon, which can attack 3 times. Cyber Dragon Nova, which can have an absurd amount of attack points. When you combine its effect with that of Cyber Dragon Zeger. Same for Rampage Dragon. Zeger can double the attack of Rampage Dragon, which can then attack 3 times, which is almost basically enough to just outright destroy, outright win a lot of games. There's even if they go first, they have cards like Cyber Dragon Infinity, which are really good. Which are as much as people kind of forget about Infinity, there was a time when people thought Infinity was one of the most broken cards in the game. They can just make Infinity and sit on it, as well as have two or three Cyber Dragons in graveyard, and then have that one trap card, Overflow, which they can just flip that, banish a bunch of their Cyber Dragons, and then just pop cards in your field. So those 2 combined can really help them stall out for a turn, where they then go in for their OTK plays with Rampage Dragon and Nova and Seeker and etc. I'm blazing through this list right now. Number 3, I have Burning Abyss. the deck that seems to never die. Dante will never die. As I'm sure most of us are aware, BA had quite a bit of success last format. They won the 200th YCS in Mexico City. I think 2 of them topped YCS London. No, 2 of them topped YCS Utrecht. I don't know. Basically, they were in the finals of YCS Utrecht, I think, right? They won YCS Mexico City, and then I think 2 of them topped YCS London, and I think 1 of them topped YCS Niagara. I think the only YCS last format where we didn't see a BA top was YCS Pasadena, but overall they had a pretty solid track record last format. They topped all but 1 YCSs, making it to the finals of 2 and winning 1 of them. That's the kind of repeated success that I feel like that deserves. However, I'm putting it at number 3 because I forget who said this, but it makes sense. Burning Abyss is good in a format at the start of a format when people haven't quite solved it yet. People are still kind of figuring out what decks are going to be meta, etc. That's where BA can shine, because it can just go in, do its BA thing, and Farfa and Graph you, all that kind of stuff. Graph Seer, Barbar, and just do all their weird stuff. But as we start to get further and further into this format, keep in mind we only have two premier events this format. YCS Milan, which already happened, and the upcoming YCS Sydney. And then unless the ban list does not come until after the start of February, what we will see YCS Chicago with a new ban list. So I think because of the lack of actual events this format, there won't be a lot of room for BA to shine. Where it's but if we ever, maybe I can be wrong about that. Maybe we'll see it top YCS Sydney. We also I don't think BA didn't top at all in YCS Milan, so it kind of dropped off the edge, similar to how it was in YCS Pasadena. So that, to me, hints at a downward trend where it had this very good spike in playability and topping capability. It then started to go downward trend with no tops at Pasadena and no tops at Milan. At number 2, I have Pendulums. We've seen kind of a resurgence of Pendulum starting last format. They consistently got 1 top slot. I think I'm not quite sure about the 200 YCSs, but I know 1 of them topped Niagara, 1 of them topped London. I think, no. 1 of them topped Niagara, 1 of them topped Pasadena, and all that. And also 1 just topped YCS Milan. So we've kind of seen how have a bit of a resurgence. I know people kind of thought that the deck was done with when they limited the Link Monster Electromite, but even only 1 Electromite, they can still put up a crazy, absolutely insane number of negates. You see these cards, they draw their 5 cards and just make 4 negates. Dawn Dragster and Naruto and Vortex Dragon, etc. So they're still pretty capable of just of making some pretty hard to break boards going first, just because of how many negates they can establish. And just Pendulum summoning in general is just such a strong mechanic that I feel like they can't necessarily OTK you going second because they have a harder time breaking boards per se. But they put up enough negates going first that they can just stop you from doing anything, and then just Pendulum something out 4 monsters, and then just go in and swing for game. I think, and generally I think that we'll see some continued success from them in this format, and even potentially a future format. I wouldn't be surprised to see 1 of them top YCS Sydney. Actually, in fact, I'll probably count on 1 of them topping YCS Sydney. But I think they're gonna stay at that 1 to 2 tops per event range. Maybe go a little higher if they get them some really good support, or they just find some totally broken cards to play in the deck. And then lastly, at number 1, I'm not going to do any honorable mentions. This list could be full of 8 million honorable mentions. So I'm just going to go straight into number 1, which is Trickstars. They had they declined. They've been on the decline ever since July of this year, post nationals. But even through last format, they've been, and even I think YCS Milan, they've been getting roughly 2, maybe 3 tops at best each YCS. So they're definitely not done quite yet. Like, they're still capable of topic events. Droll reincarnation is still a thing. That's really insane. This last ban list, like, unless you count Firewall as being a hit to them, since they can't do their like Lily Bell loop stuff, they were untouched last ban list, which means like they at will bare minimum see a slight increase in playability since now Firewall's out of the picture. But I don't know, it's kind of just my opinion. Like we've seen them consistently get a handful of top slots all throughout last format. They were doing pretty well in the regional scene. And so I don't know. I think overall we'll see them continue to kind of hold this, like, you know, number 6, number 7th best deck of the format slot. Maybe even, you know, number 5 on a good day. I think YCS Sydney we'll probably see 2 of them top, alongside, you know, your typical meta decks. But that's generally my idea of what I think the 5 best meta contender decks are gonna be. Do you guys have any decks do you think should have been on this list, or could have maybe arguably been on this list, or maybe decks that were on this list that shouldn't be? Please let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know what you guys think about this style of video. I can't make deck profiles forever, so I'm trying to figure out what other content I can make to supplement the empty space on my channel. Anyway, I'd like to, if you guys like this video, please drop a like and subscribe down below. It really helps me out. And also, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.